Alright, hello everyone, this is Blue Magma. I wanted to make a demo slash guide. I guess it's more of a comprehensive guide, so it'll be a very long demo, probably. Not sure how long this will be, but I wanted to cover Ruby and Sapphire's biggest glitch, which is mail glitch. This has been recently discovered to work on English. I discovered this maybe 5 months ago or so, that it worked on the English version of the game. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. There are quite a few different avenues you can go down with this glitch. So I'm going to kind of divide this up into segments and cover, you know, the background, how to set it up, and then the uses for it. So I'll probably split it up into chapters, and you can go through and see each part separately if you want. And yeah. Now, first and foremost, how to set it up is probably what most people are wondering right off the bat. The easiest, fastest way to do it is to have a double battle. If you have fought all the kind of normal double battles, like the news reporters people, they should always be repeatable. So if you really can't find any other double battles, you can always fight them to set up this glitch. So that's always an option. Some of the normal trainers might be easier though. But yeah, there's no like rematch feature in Ruby Sapphire. So if you don't have one of these normal double battles available, you can just fight the news reporters. So that's step one. Doesn't really matter what the opposing Pokemon are, as long as you can... you don't even have to win, actually, but you need to be able to survive for a turn, basically. So you'll see that one Pokemon needs to be holding a mail. Any mail works. Harbor mail is just easy because you can get it in Slateport, but you can also get, I believe it's orange mail in Petalburg, which you can get even sooner. You can get wood mail later. Any mail will work as long as it's something that when you give it to the Pokemon, it shows up with this mail icon here. That is the important part. That is component number 2. So 1, double battle. 2, Pokemon holding mail. 3 is a Pokemon not holding an item, and it needs to have Thief, which is very easy to get in Slateport in the museum. If you're in post-game and the guy isn't there anymore, or you taught Thief to someone else and taught over it, you can also use Covet, which things like Slackoff will learn, I believe, as well as Zigzagoon / Linoon. It might take a little more training to get them, but hopefully, if you're at the point where you're in post-game or later in the game, it shouldn't take too long. There are probably others. I think Puchiana maybe can learn Thief or Covet at some point. You'll need either Thief or Covet, and again, you want to have no item equipped. That's all the setup you need for this glitch. Now, once you go into the double battle, you can do whatever you want with the Pokemon holding the mail, in this case is Mudkip, and then with your other Pokemon, you're going to want to use Thief or Covet on the Pokemon holding the mail. So you can see I'm targeting Mudkip, I'm going to use it, and then this right here is the indicator that you've done it right. If it says blank has stolen blank's harbor mail, whatever their names are, that is the indication that you have set it up correctly. Anything else from here doesn't matter. You can lose the battle, you can win the battle, doesn't matter. For the sake of speed, I will just speed this up just to show you that it worked. The way that you can double check that it worked is you should now no longer have a mail on your first Pokemon, so Mudkip no longer has a mail, and now Abra is holding a mail. that is an indication that you've done it correctly. This, just as a side note, this doesn't work with Trick. That is Japanese exclusive, so Thief and Covet are the two main ways to do that on this version. And you can see it's holding the Harbor Mail. It should show up there. And Mudkip should not be holding any item anymore. And yeah, that's how to set it up. The core of the glitch is now active, and now I will go over some of the uses for it. Now, kind of one of the more, I guess, underwhelming, I guess it's all, you know, opinion, but one of the more underwhelming uses of this glitch, but is also the easiest to set up, or easiest to activate after you've set up the glitch, is, I call it 10th tile corruption, which will make more sense later. The only thing you need to do this is whatever Pokemon thiefed or coveted the mail, whichever Pokemon stole the mail, basically. Just go to the menu, click mail, click take, and send the mail to the PC, like this. Now, when you come back out, you'll see that this tile here has been corrupted. This tile now has a value of 0. I'll get more into the technical explanation maybe later, but I'll save that for the end. But what this means is now we can walk on water, like this. Which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, you can't do much with it because you cannot cross over here. We're not surfing, so we can't get back up onto land. But this is still cool for speedruns, because if I run around for a while, maybe, getting very unlucky. I don't know if I have like a repel up or something. I'll speed up a little. There we go. They're just insanely unlucky with encounters. But you can get very high level wild Pokemon, and like I said, this is doable after you get Thief or Covet, so this is doable after the first gym. In theory, you could do this before the first gym if you spend the time to grind up a Zigzagoon to learn Covet or something like that, if you really want to do that. But it's very easy to do after the first gym. It's technically possible to do before the first gym. But yeah, you can get a Wingull that goes up to level 30, same with Pelipper, and then you can also find Tentacool here, which goes up to level 35. Which, yeah, is what we use in speedrun. The problem with this is it's only one tile, as you can see, and it doesn't let us get to the other side of the water. And secondly, I will load a state really quick. Oops, wrong one. Let's just go to... not this one. I'll pause it real quick and we'll be right back. There we go. We're just going to go back here. And here's an example of why this specific use is not super applicable for a lot of things, because if I try it here on Route 104, it corrupts right here, which does not accomplish anything. Style's nothing special, doesn't let us walk on water, doesn't really let us do anything cool. Basically, without getting into too much detail, it's because the tile that you corrupt is predetermined based on which area you are in. I'll show another example if I reset. I'll go up here to Rustboro. Should be over here. You can see we corrupt the tile on the roof, which actually I didn't know that you could walk into it because this doesn't have collision. So it makes for some funny visual, you know, glitches, but it's not like this really does anything other than look kind of silly. But yeah, that's basically the basics of the 10th tile glitch, as I like to call it. You can try it out for yourself on other places. I'll also link some resources in the description if you want more information on how to figure out like where this spawns specifically. Alright, next glitch. This one is kind of like I'm kind of going in order of complexity, I guess. Next glitch is item duplication, which has obviously a ton of implications. The main way to do this is once you've set up the glitch, as I showed previously, once you have done that, you want to... there are a couple different ways to do it. The easiest one is to have a full party, remove that mail from whichever Pokemon used Thief, whichever Pokemon stole the mail, remove it just like you're doing the 10th tile glitch. It'll just make things a little more straightforward. And then the most important part is to fill your party. There are ways to do this with less than a full party, but for simplicity, we'll just do it with a full party. And you want a lot of mail. I only have one, so I'll go grab some more. My personal favorite is the Slate Port Mart, but again, you can use whatever mail you want. Does not matter. Mail is also incredibly cheap, which is very convenient for this glitch. So anyways, once you've got your mail, you've got your full party, you set up the glitch, make sure that every Pokemon in your party is holding a mail except for one. Here's a little preview on what we'll get into later. If you see this, you have done it correctly. If you try to equip a mail to your... if you try to equip a mail to a Pokemon and you get this screen where it's a bunch of question marks, you are in good shape. The reason why both of them are doing this is because on this save file I've activated the glitch multiple times. But if you've only activated the glitch once, you will need to give mail to everybody else in your party. But once you see that question mark screen, you know that you're good. Then from there, instead of giving a mail, give them whatever item you want. This can be rare candies are an obvious one. We use that in the speedrun as well. And then from here, all you have to do is go to item, give, and then give them a mail. It'll say, would you like to switch the items? But then it won't actually switch them. And if we go back into our bag, we can see that we have one less mail and we have one more rare candy. I like to do this from the bag personally just because it's faster. You can do it from the Pokemon menu or the bag. But you can just give a harbor mail. You can see that now we've got 3 rare candies. Do it one more time. 4 rare candies. 5 rare candies. You can do this as much as you want, as long as you have mail. You can see we lose 1 mail every time we do this. And this works for any item that a Pokemon can hold. So this won't work for things like the Mach Bike, the Item Finder, the SS Ticket, the Blue Orb. You can't give these to a Pokemon, so you cannot duplicate them. But anything that you can hold, including TMs, you can't do it with HMs. It's funny that they have the option, but you can't hold HMs. But any TM will work with this. I'll just switch out the rare candy for the TM42. I'll give some more mail. I'll do it twice just to prove it. And now we have 2 copies of Facade. So normally these TMs that were, you can only get 1 of them. Now you can get as many as you want on a single save without trading or anything. So that's pretty nice. People might be able to come up with more uses for it. In the speedrun, it's nice to duplicate rare candies. And that's about it. But for casual play, obviously it's nice to duplicate whatever you want. Okay, next up, and this is kind of like the third and final main glitch, I guess. Everything else will just kind of be like extensions of one of the 3 things that we talked about. This one I like to call QMM, for question mark mail, which you saw the last section. This is achieved basically the same way as how you set up item duplication, so you can watch that section if you haven't, just to see the setup. But like I said, once you give a Pokemon a mail and you see this screen where it's a bunch of question marks in the slots, you are in the right spot, and you've done it correctly. I won't do it yet. You can see there was already a phrase in there that said normal. That's fine. You still did it correctly. That doesn't have an impact. That's for reasons we'll get into later. This is QMM, probably not the most useful for the speedrun, but the coolest, and it has the most weird quirks to it. This is also called tile corruption, so I'll go into it again. And what we're doing is, well, okay, I'll show off what it can do, just to start out. And then I'll give kind of a brief explanation. I'm just gonna fill all of these with Abra for now, just as a demonstration. And we've now made a bridge out onto the water. We can run out on the water, run back and forth. There's some weird stuff we can do if we go too far left. I won't do that yet. And if I want to do it again, I can. I can even change the words if I want different things. See, now we got a bunch of different things. These are flowers that I cannot walk through, because of the phrase that I put in. But yeah, you can spawn almost any tile that you want, with some limitations. But this has some pretty crazy uses. But the basics are just, again, fill your party with mail, like this. Again, one of them does, or 2 of them don't have mail because I did the glitch multiple times instead of just once. But you'll just equip a harbor mail. It should be full of question marks originally, and then you can fill in any words that you want, just to test, make sure it works. And there we go. See, some of it changed. That changed right there. And that's how to do it. Some very big things to note are that the position of these tiles is fixed. Just like the 10th tile glitch, I cannot control where these tiles go. They will always be here if I'm on Route 110. If I go over to Route 117, or we'll do 118 because it's closer. But if I go here, and I do the same glitch, see, now it's reset to question marks because we've changed locations. I'll just do a few phrases for the sake of time. You can see that they are here. I can spawn grass tiles. You can spawn water. You can spawn, like I said, almost anything. This I cannot control the position of these tiles, though. This is the only place that I can spawn these tiles. Same for Route 110. I can only spawn them in that specific line. That is the case in everywhere. The other big factor is the place that you're in has to be large enough. Otherwise, the tiles will be out of bounds. So in most buildings, like Pokemon centers, for example, I can do all of these. Just as an example. And the tiles, the corrupted tiles are nowhere to be found. That's because they are way off screen. They're down like at the bottom of the screen. I can't actually see them. I can't reach them. And that's because the map that we're in is too small. And I can get more into that later, but that's the gist of it. You need a location that is large enough, like Route 110 or Route 118. There's a lot that do work, but buildings are generally too small. Alright, and now I'm gonna just cover some of the things that you can do with these glitches. I've kind of already showcased some of them by explaining the other glitches, or explaining how to set up the glitches, I guess. But now I'll get a little bit more into detail. So on Route 110, for example, you can use this tile corruption, or QMM, to bike on water, which is kind of fun. Again, you can get high-level Pokemon earlier than you normally would. Another thing that you can do is sort of the inverse of this. We should be able to do this one. I'll use the phrase huge power for this. You start out the game with it, so you don't have to unlock it. And it's pretty easy. Now we have a secret base. We can go inside of it, back out. And now we're surfing. Secret bases will have a lot of use in weird things with this glitch. But now what I can do is I can actually surf on land. So we can bike on water, we can run on water, and we can surf on land. This doesn't have a ton of practical application. It kind of just looks funny. But you can use it for, you know, a while. The one limiting factor is if you know, I can't bike. If you go into a building, it will reset your status. So if I go into a Pokemon Center, I'm no longer surfing, and I'd have to do it again if I wanted to keep going. And then there is one other use that I will show off in just a moment. Okay. Here on Route 120 is the easiest way to show this off. I'll use the phrase on. I can actually interact with this tile that we've just corrupted, and I can surf on it. I would then, you know, jump off if I was to jump off normally, but I can either change the tile that I'm on, or I can just put a easy tile next to me. Abra is very convenient because the Abra phrase has no collision. I actually got an encounter just there. That's another thing, is corrupted tiles can spawn encounters. So I got water encounter because of this. I could do the same with a grass tile, which has some cool applications. And now we are surfing on land. You actually go full speed through the tall or the long grass, which is kind of fun. What you can do with land surfing, besides just being funny, is you can jump off of bridges when they go down to a lower elevation. So the only real application of this so far is you can go into Four Tree Gym without getting rid of the Kecleon, just by doing this. You land surf onto this bridge, jump off, and now we can go in the gym. I obviously already got rid of the Kecleon, but you can still go in the gym even if you haven't. And yeah, that's really like the main use of land surfing, which isn't anything crazy, but it is kind of cool. And yeah, that's the extent of kind of land surfing, running on water. They pretty much do what you expect. As I said earlier, when you're running on water, you can't actually like get onto the other side of land if you are not in surf mode. So there's some limitations with that. But with surfing, you can walk through things normally, and you can jump off of bridges. Not just bridges, but they're the most common thing. Anything that has a higher elevation than the thing in front of you will work. So this right here, if I was surfing here, I could jump down from this tile onto the beach down there. That would also work. Another sort of sub-glitch, this isn't really part of the tile corruption, this is more so a part of the 10th tile glitch, or sort of just a byproduct of setting up the glitch at all. You can get some glitch items in your inventory. So we're back here, we just have the basic setup where Abra has a mail, it stole the mail from Mudkip. If we take this item, send it to our PC, and then we go to our PC, it has a very strange name, and when you read it, it is empty. That's because the values for it are all wrong, and if we move it to our bag, or sorry, not move it to our bag. Actually, either one will work. Moving to our bag or giving it to a Pokemon, I believe will work. But I know that moving it to a Pokemon will definitely work. And now, Mudkip has this item, which has the item icon, even though it was supposed to be a mail. It was in the mailbox. But now you can see the item is a whole bunch of question marks. We remove the item, it's also a bunch of question marks. And now that it's in our bag, we can see it has no description. We cannot use it. We can give it back to our Pokemon if we want. We can also throw it out. The reason why this happens is because when we corrupt the 10th tile, we are kind of swapping information. We're swapping the item that our Pokemon is holding with the tile in the world. And so whatever the value of that roof tile is that we showed off earlier, that will be the value of the item that we get. And in most cases, that value is really, really big. And values that are too big, when they're turned into items, just become a whole bunch of question marks. And they don't really do anything, but they do look kind of funny. And yeah, that's about it. You can also get these with the value of 0, which are essentially the same, except you can't equip them to your Pokemon. They still don't do anything, and they will actually go away if you pick up or buy any new items. But yeah, those are called Octomark items, because they are 8 question marks. And yeah, like I said, not much that you can do with them, but they do look kind of funny. Okay, the big section here is the wrong warps. These are probably my favorite use of the glitch, or use of mail glitch. not really useful in the speedrun yet, although there are a ton of places where it's really close to being useful. So maybe we'll find something. But anyways, the probably most, or I guess the simplest, maybe easiest one to use is the hole warp, which is what I call it. I have my QMM set up. I'm gonna go into Meteor Falls just because it's an easy place to do it. And then I believe phrase is, it's on its status. Is it training? Yeah, so the phrase is nature, I believe. We'll go here, and now you can see there is a hole here. This is not normally here in the game. They put in data for like the holes that you can fall through in Meteor Falls, even though in Ruby Sapphire there's no actual holes that you can fall through here. That's only in like Sky Pillar, Granite Cave, stuff like that. But the same functionality exists here, and we can actually spawn it with tile corruption, even though it wasn't originally in the game. Part 1 of Hole Warp that I'll show you is without save and quit. If you just go into this hole, you will come out here. This is because we did not enter any warps in Route 115. This is the literal middle of the map of Route 115. We are dead center in the middle of the map. If you like take a picture of the whole thing, we'd be right in the middle. In that position, we're soft locked. If we did the same thing from Route 114, if we came from Hull Arbor, went over, down, and around, and then went through Route 114 and went here, we would be dropped in the middle of Route 114. Now, the other interesting thing is save and quit with this. If you spawn a hole, save the game, reset, soft reset or hard reset, doesn't matter, and then load back up, and fall through. We are now in Petalburg, and this will always take you to Petalburg if you save and quit, as far as we know. Unfortunately, we are stuck out of bounds, just barely. So we can't actually get here, or like get back into bounds. We can corrupt tiles here, like we are in the we're in the correct position to do so, which is sort of just coincidence. But you can corrupt tiles here. You can't walk through them because the game knows that we're out of bounds. Even though these tiles don't have collision, the game still stops you from moving when you're out of bounds. You can do some weird things to kind of move a little bit, but none of them are enough to put you back in bounds. And then finally, so that's kind of the sorry for fast movement, but that's the extent of the save and quit warp. It'll always put you back in Petalburg. Some places you can do it and it will actually put you in bounds, which I can show off later. One other use of the whole warp is it will kind of save your position. Or, like I said, it warps you to where you came into the place from, or where you entered the place from. So we entered from Route 115, but because we hadn't entered any places, we just got dropped in the middle of the map. If we make a secret base, for example, which we just did like that, and now we do the same thing, just put in, was it trainer? Yeah. not going to save and quit. Now I go in the hole, and it warps us right out here. Puts us at the entrance to our secret base. This will work with any sort of like entrance. So for example, if there was a hole in Rustboro City that we could fall through, it would take us to the last door that we entered, basically. So if we went in here, came back out, and then immediately fell through a hole, we would be warped right back here. However, you can't really like set this as a permanent warp point. Let's say, for example, I go back to here, where my secret base was, go in and out, and I'll do some speed up since it's kind of a lengthy process. If I go back into Rustboro, back into Route 115, the last place that I technically went into was my secret base, but because we crossed we crossed over into Rustboro and then back in, if I do the same setup, fall through, no save and quit, we'll end up right in the middle of Route 115. So you can really only warp back to a place that is within the route that you previously entered. So another place that you could do this is Victory Road, for example. But that doesn't mean that you could warp like from Victory Road to Petalburg or something. The only place that you could really warp would be this Pokemon Center. You could go in, out, and then spawn a hole in Victory Road, which you can't actually really do because the tiles you can spawn end up being out of bounds, but that's just like an example, just to demonstrate kind of some of the limitations. And that's about it for hole warp. I guess I'll just prove what I said earlier. There are ways that you can get inbounds in Petalburg. Over here, for example. Let me find this out real quick. I will be right back for that. Okay. Had to go in and find the correct phrase. But Water Gun will work on Route 134 and some other routes. And this is because it has some of the tiles from Sky Pillar, which Sky Pillar has holes that you can fall through. So if we combine Water Gun with Puchiena, I believe, we can force ourselves onto this tile. We couldn't just walk onto it normally because it has collision, but using the phrase Puchiena, we can jump onto this ledge and it'll put us on the hole. Without save and quit, this will put us in the middle of Slateport, because that's the last place that we went to, like I showed earlier. But if we save and quit, and go into it, we will actually end up inbounds in Petalburg. See, we can walk around. It does actually work. And yeah, that's about the extent of Hole Warp. That's pretty much all you can do with it at the moment. Water Gun is a post-game phrase, but you can, I believe there are other phrases that you can get without being in post-game that will accomplish the same effect. That's just what I used for this example. And yeah, I'll go to the next part of Wrong Warps. just a second. Okay, here we are, Route 110 again. This is just a place where it's really easy to show off kind of what we can corrupt. But this does work in other places as well, as I've shown. But this example, this is like the earliest that you can really do it. I'll just fill all these up with Abra, and if I just go straight left, you'll see what happens. We are now in Petalburg City. We got some weird glitched graphics over on the left. The music changed. I cannot move. I cannot get on or off the bike. Yeah, can't do much. Can't surf, can't waterfall, can't fly, can't teleport, can't secret power. And if I go back out, if I sweet scent, there's no Pokemon, but you can see now we are in pitch black darkness, because we are actually way, way, way out of bounds in Petalburg, in specifically a house in Petalburg. There's no way out of it, except for whiting out, which is possible with poison, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just a way to soft lock yourself, essentially. On the Japanese version, you can do some weird stuff to make that have different effects, because of very technical reasons why it puts you in Petalburg. But we really don't have a good way to like control it or anything, or make it take us anywhere else. So really no known like speedrun use or anything, but it does look pretty funny, and you can soft lock someone's save file if you really want to. The other thing we'll do here, that's what I call void warp. It's not really a void warp. It just looks like you're in a void because it turns all black, so I call it void warp. But another thing that you can do, and this is a little more interesting, is pop out here. We are now technically considered out of bounds. And let me find the correct phrase for this. Easiest way to do this is just with the phrase bug on the tile that you're standing on. If it wasn't kind of clear already, each of these phrases corresponds to one tile. This is tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, tile 4, tile 5, tile 6. So there's 9 tiles that we can corrupt here, and we call the other one the 10th tile, because, yeah, it's the 10th one that we discovered, basically. So this is tile number 4, which corresponds to the one we're standing on right now, actually. So we'll put it bug in slot 4. This is now a door, a Pokemon Center door. Doors have some weird mechanics. Not like crazy stuff like in some other games, but if you save and reset while you are on them, it will actually push you down. So normally we couldn't go down because we were actually out of bounds, but now we are successfully out of bounds and down one more tile than we normally could be. Now let's do TMM one more time. Put bug in replace bug with huge power is just the one that I remember off the top of my head, but any secret base will work. We're gonna enter the secret base. This guy we will show off in a little bit. But anyways, now when we leave, we put ourselves out of bounds, so when the game tries to put us back in bounds in the place that we just came from, it won't know what to do because it's not a valid location. So, just like the whole warp, it will drop us right in the middle of the map. So this is the dead middle of Route 110. And we can't really move any of the 3 up, down, or left, but or up, right, or left, but we can move down. And now we are surfing on Cycling Road. The game forced us to surf because that tile that it put us on was a water tile, so it makes us surf. And you can surf around on Cycling Road. You will also get encounters on Cycling Road. There's a kind of a weird quirk where if you are surfing and you are on a bridge tile, the game can still give you encounters because the game doesn't actually check if you are above or below the bridge. It just knows that the only way that you should normally be surfing is if you are underneath a bridge. And there's no like actual tiles under there. The game just kind of tricks you into thinking there's something there by making you invisible. It makes you think that you're underneath the bridge. So you can actually get encounters here, as you saw. If you really want to walk on Cycling Road, you can actually do that. I'll just speed up real quick. I can go into here, a normal Cycling Road house, and we're running on Cycling Road. You can get on and off the bike now, break all the rules, and yeah. You won't get encounters when you're running. It's like I said, it only applies if you're surfing. And yeah, that is what you can do with, I call it Secret Base Warp. There's only very few places where you can do that setup, because you have to be able to go fully out of bounds on either the left or the north side of the map. Route 110 is just an easy place to do that. You can do it on Route 120 as well, and it'll just put you in the center of Route 120. And yeah, that's Secret Base Warp. We covered the Void Warp, and there is one other wrong warp that I'll touch on. Okay, here's the last type of wrong warp. This I call Dive Warp. It was known about on Emerald for a while, which you could do without QMM, but you can actually do it with QMM on Sapphire, Ruby and Sapphire as well. Makihita is what I like to use as a phrase. This spawns a dark water tile, or like a deep water tile. You can see normally, if I try to dive, it says I can't use that. If I save and quit, I will actually be able to use it. Now the game doesn't know where to put me, because normally you should not be diving on Route 103. So when I do, you can see I was able to dive no problem. It'll actually just put me right out of this house in Petalburg. So it's a cool way to get back to Petalburg, but of course for the speedrun you have to fly anyways, so it doesn't really make much of a difference, and you don't really need to come back to Petalburg. But it's a stylish way to get back, and yeah, if you don't have fly on you for some reason. But yeah, it will always take you here unless you're in a place that does have a real like diving area. So for example, if we go to, I'll just speed this up real quick. If we go to Route 127, you can see like we can actually dive here. If we did that same setup with a tile corruption or a QMM, it would put us underwater, just out of bounds. There's some like goofy stuff you can do underwater, like you can actually walk underwater, but you're out of bounds, so it doesn't exactly let you get anywhere. And yeah, that's it for the wrong warps. Next, we'll talk about stuff that is post-game only. There's really two things that are post-game only, but they are both pretty cool. One of them is kind of a wrong warp, not really, but it better fits at the end, especially because it's post-game only. Okay, here's the first post-game glitch. We're going to, just for the sake of demonstration, we'll kind of walk through it from start to finish, even though I've already done some of the steps just by showing off things. You're going to want to create a normal secret base like this. You need secret power. You're going to create your secret base, and then just go ahead and leave. Now you're going to go anywhere that can corrupt tiles and spawn a secret base entrance. Yeah, I like Route 110, just because it's close to Mauville. I know exactly where it is. You can do this anywhere. And then you're going to, in a tile that's accessible, again, I like to just put huge power. Go inside, and then just use the PC to pack up. Say yes. I don't know if you have to use the PC, but it's the way I do it that I know works. And then finally, do that step one more time. So create another secret base. Go back in, and now this guy is here. You'll notice it said blank secret base. It didn't have a name. That's because the game thinks that this is our friend's base, basically. And this is like our friend that is a trainer. Because that's something that you can do in this game with the link cable and stuff. Now, if we talk to him, I'll ask you if you want to battle. Say yes, I'll make you save the game. And this is the glitch trainer. Which is the only glitch trainer we can fight as of now. And it's youngster nothing. He has no Pokemon. Sends out blank, and it is a level 0 question mark. And that is all. We cannot run. It has no HP. We can attack it, and it'll die because it has no HP. Faux blank fainted. Gets 1 XP. Money, and that's about it. Unfortunately, there's not too much you can really do with this. You can't catch it because it's a trainer battle, and it actually goes away because the game doesn't want to show that thing normally. Like even if I open the bag and close it, everything is actually gone, even the HP bar and stuff, which is interesting. Yeah, we can't exactly do anything to make it go away. Like, we can switch in Oddish. And yeah, the battle just ends. So yeah, no real way to, like, capture this thing or do anything with it. But it does look pretty cool. And it's the only way that you can actually, you know, like, find this thing in the game. And yep, you can only fight it once per day. But that's pretty much it for the glitch trainer. Alright, last but not least of the applications of male glitch is not exclusively the Safari Zone, but it's kind of one of the cooler uses of it, and the rest of it will be clear, like on how to apply this to other things. But we can actually kind of set a warp point and come back to it whenever we want, using secret bases. It is post-game only, unfortunately. This would be really cool if it wasn't post-game only for so much stuff. But anyways, all you're gonna have to do is, in the Safari Zone, for example, just like I've been doing, it's easy enough to just use huge power to spawn a secret base. Now we're gonna go in the secret base, we're gonna go back out. Now our secret base warp is set. The secret base warps are stored separately from other warps in the game. We can now fly to Oldale is the best place to do this. It has to be, there's a more convoluted setup to get it to work in Petalburg, but it has to be like one of these specific places, and Route 103 is just the easiest way to do it by far. So on Route 103, the easiest way to do this, I would say, is corrupt 1 or 2 tiles with just Abra, something that you can walk on. And then just replace them both with Tail Glow. The reason that this works is because, like I said earlier, every phrase corresponds to a different tile. Now, some of the phrases have values that are so large that they don't correspond with normal tiles. They correspond with random data outside of the normal memory of the game. And it just so happens that in these locations, Tail Glow corresponds with a secret base PC. So we can boot it up, you see it like changes sprites because normally the secret base PC would change sprites, but it doesn't know what sprite to change it to, so it kind of gets weird. You can use decorations and stuff and like fly around. I don't have any decorations, maybe I'll show that in another video. You can't really do anything with it though, which is why I didn't really include it. It just kind of looks funny. But what you want to do is pack up. The reason that we put 2 Tail Glow phrases is because you can only interact with a secret base PC if you are on the same elevation. And so by spawning 2 of them, we can guarantee that we're at the same elevation as the PC. You're just gonna pack up, and now you warp back to the secret, or the Safari Zone. It'll take you to wherever your last secret base is, or wherever like wherever the last base you entered is. So you could put a secret base anywhere and warp back to it. And the really cool thing about this is you'll notice that there is no retire function, which means we can now fight Safari Zone encounters. We can't throw Pokeblocks anymore, we don't have Safari Balls. We can actually just use any Pokeballs we want. You can use a Master Ball on a Safari Zone Pikachu if you want. This makes RNG manipulation really, really easy in the Safari Zone, because normally you couldn't save in the Safari Zone, but now you can. You won't run out of steps ever, so if you like just want to stay in here forever for some reason, you can. And yeah, that's pretty much the extent of what you can do with the... I don't know if we really have a name for it, but yeah, you can catch a Wobbuffet if you want. Actually, can't run away because it's Shadow Tag. But you can see it'll give you XP like any normal Wildmon would, just like that. We do not have any Pokeblocks, but you can still interact with them. But yeah, I could run around for as long as you want. I'm not going to run out of steps. I can talk to this guy if I want to leave and I don't have Fly. I'll just kick you out. But yeah, that is not not a complete list. There are some smaller glitches, or some smaller uses that I didn't include on here. But it's a pretty comprehensive guide to Male Glitch in Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. Pretty much all the cool things you can do. And yeah, I'll try to leave information down in the description. I'll leave links to my Discord if you have more specific questions and want help. I'm always happy to help with any of this stuff. And if you have any ideas as well, I would love to hear them for some more cool things you can do, whether it's speedrun related or otherwise. And yeah, also feel free to ask questions in the comments or leave ideas in the comments if you have any. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.